Hi, this is Blake Angelos with Yamaha here on Synthtopia with the all-new MODX. This is the MODX 6 right here. There's a 6, there's a 7, and there's an 8. All of them internally are identical, all the same. So, we like to talk about the MODX series, with the Montage, we had all the control and the sound, but with the MODX, we like to talk about mobility or about just the lightweightness of it. So the first thing is that the MODX is very lightweight. This 61 note version is 14 pounds, so very, very light. The 76 note is 16 pounds and the 88 is about 30 pounds. So that's the first thing, very lightweight. It is Montage Dna, so our flagship Montage, it is based on the same technology. So the AWM2 engine, which is the sample-based engine, that's pretty much identical. It's got the same amount of the wave ROM. It's 128 note stereo polyphony with that one. The other side is the Fmx engine. That's 64 voice polyphony, 8 operator FM synthesis. Fmx is what we call it. It's 8 operator, 88 algorithms. So it's a very deep, very powerful FM synthesizer engine in this as well. And then you also have the motion control, the super knob that does simultaneous control of multiple parameters. Up to 128 simultaneous parameters can be assigned to that super knob or to any of the controllers in here. So what is this in relationship to something like the Montage? The Montage is all metal for one thing. This is plastic, so it's lighter weight. There's some less DSP resources inside of MODX, but not many. You have 12 insertion, actually a total of 13 insertion effects when you include the insertion effect that you can assign to the A to D input here. But it doesn't have as many simultaneous audio outputs as a Montage. So there's some definitely things that you get when you get the Montage. Obviously, Montage also has a whole lot of buttons and faders and things that this is a little bit neck down, but that's the whole point of this. It's supposed to be a little bit more of a mobile kind of Montage. But sonically, and that's the most important thing, it sounds like a Montage. It has that same DNA, definitely. So I'll play some of the sounds in here so you can check out here and so I can hear. So obviously it has things like, the CFX piano, for example. It has the 7-inch touchscreen as well, exactly like Montage. If I want to do some things like just add a layer to it, I can just touch an empty part, go to a string layer, and say, I'm going to put a little string section behind my piano, so I have that. So now I have a piano and a string layer. It's very easy to get around on this instrument and to assign things to the super knob. Let's say I just want to fade in the strings. I can touch this and drop into Edit and select volume maybe if I want to assign volume to the strings. And I touch the control assign, it brings up this little easy control assign screen that says touch one of the controllers you want to assign. So now I've assigned volume to the strings. So it has a nice user interface, easy to use, easy to assign some things. Lots of great sounds in the AWM engine. Let's talk about the Fmx engine. The Fmx engine, I actually loaded in some very cool things in here. Let me find one that's a total FM sound. Like this is one that Richard Devine actually put together. This one's called Evolving Waves, and this is 2 Fmx parameters. And this one is just cool because I actually have played this. So I've actually used this sound and I've turned it on and I played a chord and I let it go, and 14 hours later it was still evolving and doing stuff. So very, very cool, interesting things that you can do with FM synthesis. The cool thing I like about this guy though is the ability to take something, let's take something like an original DX7 sound. So you can hear that thing still playing in the background. If it was 14 hours from now, it would still be playing. But I'll grab something, say, like this brass sound here. So this right here, that's straight out of the DX7 ROM cartridge 1 or 2. It's one of the two. So you can load DX7 sounds into it. Interesting thing is that if you had an FM synthesizer, a DX or TX series instrument, you can go to our FM cloud converter at Yamaha Synth, drop the actual bulk file into FM cloud converter, convert it, and it spits out a MODX file or a montage file. This is fully compatible with all those montage sounds, so you can load montage sounds directly into it. But, you know, so the idea here is this one comes in just like how it was on a DX7 with absolutely no effects. So the great thing about the MODX and the Montage both, is the ability to have real-time control over FM. So I'll go in here, I can drop into this this sound here, and the first thing I can do is just maybe just add some reverb, because the DX7 did not have reverbs. Maybe not that much reverb, but so right away that's kind of cool. But check this out. If I drop in the algorithm here, you can see which algorithm is selected. So this is algorithm 30. It's easy to change sounds very quickly by just changing algorithms. It changes the arrangement of the operator, so you get completely different sounds that way. But let's say I just want to do something like, here's algorithm 30, that's the one that I have here, and I change something like operator 3. If you touch on operator 3, it shows me what's happening with that operator, but you have different spectral components that have basically above and beyond what sine waves are. I love what Richard Devine said in our live stream. He says, you know, give me sine waves, I'll make you anything. FM synthesis is really that powerful. But let's say you just want to get there a little bit quicker. You can change something like the spectral component here. So I just changed one that's like, just by changing this, you can hear some slight changes to the sound. But it's the real-time control of this that's really cool. So I'll change this one here, this resonance. If I want to change resonance of that operator, obviously that really changes sound, but if I want real-time control, I can assign that to any of the controls here. So if I touch control assign, it's now asking me, what do you want to assign it to? So I just assigned this parameter to that resonant of the operator. In fact, if you touch on the destination here, you can really see all the stuff that you can assign to the controls. It could be superknob, it could be a foot controller, it could be the modulation controller. That to me is the really magical thing about the MODX for the synthesist. And that's kind of what we're sort of thinking on the MODX 6. We want people that are into synthesizers to really take a look at this and to get the massive FM engine and the DSP in here and integrate it with your synth rig if you want to. It gives a different sound. FM is so capable of doing so many different sounds, but it's a very unique sound that's a nice foil to something that's a full analog system. So that's a cool thing I love about the MODX. All the other stuff, the great strings and the great horns and stuff, they're in here as well. But again, as a synthesizer, MODX really shines. So you notice on the MODX that 7-inch touchscreen, that's identical to the Montage. So that's one of the things that it shares with Montage. The two engines, those are identical. The only real difference between the Fmx engine is the polyphony. There's more polyphony in the Montage. But as far as the sound that you get out of it, it's an FM synthesis, and it has that AWM, so that's going to sound the same. The fact that it's compatible with the Montage performances is very powerful. So there's stuff up there, like for example, if you found something that was a Montage library on our Yamaha MusicSoft site, something like the Chick Corea Rhodes, you can load that into the MODX. The Bosendorfer collection that we made for Montage, you can load that into MODX. All of that can load into MODX. I think that, to me, is an amazing thing. To have that compatibility and to have it in such a lightweight package. The other thing is that it is an audio interface to a computer. Now, Montage takes you into things like 192 kilohertz sample rates. You can do that. And there's more simultaneous outputs on a Montage. But what do you get on a MODX? You get 10 outputs via USB to the DAW, send, and you get 4 returns back stereo to the MODX. So it's basically a 10 out, 4 in audio interface and MIDI interface to the computer. That to me is very powerful. Another cool just thing that we carried over from the MOXF was this USB monitor right here. So let's say you play a gig where you like to use plugins, and you want to go to the gig, and you've been taking something like a audio interface to the gig. Well, you don't want to take that to the gig. Wouldn't it be great to have one cable, take that to the gig, have your virtual instruments, and then have a dedicated volume knob right in front while you're playing to balance the two very easily right here. You can also play back tracks. If you're somebody that plays to tracks, you have a USB audio control, one cable to control all those things. I think that's a very cool thing about this instrument. You also have an A to D input with an on-off switch and a gain control. You can have a stereo A to D input, or you can put a mono A to D input. Obviously, because it is Montage Dna, that means it has things like the envelope follower, like the vocoder. You can run a microphone through here and use your voice and have it route through the effects in here. You can record all of that, including the A to D input, to a DAW. And when you look at something like this, a MODX 6, this is about $12.99 is what you pay for something like this with all that power, 192 voice polyphony, 13 simultaneous insertion effect blocks, all the reverb, all the master effects, all that stuff in this nice, super, ridiculously lightweight package. I'm not just strong, but I'm sitting here moving this around like it's nothing, because it is. It's 14 pounds. So that to me is really exciting, to have something with a big touchscreen interface that allows me to get around and select things, and I want to edit something, and I can just touch in the screen, and I can assign things, and I can do all these things right in front of me. I think that is extremely cool with this instrument. So it's bringing this really, really nice, great sounding system that we introduced with Montage into a little bit more affordable package, and a very lightweight package as well. So again, we have the MODX 6, 61 notes, 14 pounds. The MODX 7 is 76 notes, 16 pounds. And then the 88 note version is 30 pounds. I think that right there is so cool. For example, one of the things that I've been using it for, I have the 76 that I've been using. Now I can take it out because we've announced it. I can go to a gig on my bike, plug into the PA with a 76 note keyboard on my back, and have a piano sound in front of me, something like, let me get to one here that I use all the time. I use category search. Just like this. There's CFX concert right here. This piano, that's amazing to me, to have that kind of super great sounding piano. But then I can turn around, go to category search, go to sound effects, and grab something that's like, that right there is super cool. But then I turn around and I've got or an orchestral clarinet. With this one, if I touch the assignable knob, I get staccato. And then the super knob, what it does, octave clarinet with a bassoon. That's what the super knob brings in. And on and on and on. It's an endless. For emulative sounds, we got you covered. For synth sounds, we got you covered. That's kind of what this instrument's about. An affordable, great sounding, very, very wide ranging sound source. So the pricing, $12.99 for the 61, $14.99 for the 76, $18.99 for the 88. They will be in stores on the 27th of September 2018. So that's when you can get the MODX in your hands.